What's up, everybody, and welcome to Narcocop MMA. I'm your host, Mike, and this is a full card breakdown for UFC OKC. It is Usman versus Du Plessis, an actual good main event here for a fight night card. So they do have 12 fights. They added a fight here late in the week. So I'm going to go over the full card here. I'm going to break down every fight. I'm going to tell you, what side I like. And I'm going to actually tell you what side I like from a betting perspective as well. So, there's a big difference between, who I think wins and who I think has value on the money line. So, I will go over all 12 fights. There is 38 people already in here, so I appreciate all of you. Let me go over to chat. Quickly go over to chat. Rian, what's up, my friend? Thank you for joining. Joseph Curry is in the house. J-Bone, what's up, my man? Bob says, hello, Narco. How you doing, my friend? Listen to J-Bone and hit the like here. Bloom Dog, what's up, my man? Thank you for joining. Lightning says, yes, sir. Glad we are able to do a full a card breakdown. I haven't done these in a bit. I was in Vegas doing a bunch of shit, poker, this, that, and the other. So I was a little busy, but, we're back on the grind, man. There's a lot of UFC in the next, 9-10 weeks straight. We got a bunch of fucking UFC. So I'm here. I did my tape study this week, all done early, thank God. There's BKFC this week. There's BKB this week. If you want to join the Discord, link is down below. I've been crushing BKFC this year. I think I've had 2 losing cards all year, up around 30 units on BKFC alone. So last week wasn't the best week for me. Lost some spots pre-BSD was I guess in hindsight, a bad bet. I did have a very big bet on Holloway, which worked out. But the live was incredible. I mean, we hit a bunch of live spots, very, very big bets on the live. So it's a good weekend if you include the lives, but I try not to cap that into my unit, win-loss units, because I just don't think it's fair to include the live stuff, because not everybody's getting the same price. Not everybody has the same books, all that, et cetera, et cetera. So, all right, Cameron Junkin, what's up, my friend? We got some money to make on Saturday. Absolutely. PRPs go crazy, says German. Summer fight times are busy. Holy, a lot of fights. Yeah, this a lot of fights. All right, let's kick it off here. First fight, okay? It is in the featherweight division. These guys are both moving up in weight here. They both have fought at 45 before, I believe. Damian Anderson even fought at 55 in his amateur career. He had one fight in amateurs, so he fought at 55. This is literally grappler versus grappler. This is basically what this comes down to. Damian Anderson calls himself Demon Hands. He has some okay striking. He's pretty fast, elusive on the feet. He's got pretty good striking. I would say it's, mediocre. It's not anything special, but he's serviceable there. I think Ezra Elliott, we see a lot less of his striking in his fights just because he's more, he's going to throw a couple of strikes in and out and then just shoot for a takedown. I think he's the better wrestler of these two guys by a good margin. Elliott is the much better wrestler here when you look at these two. Both these guys are like submission specialists, man. Ezra Elliott has 5 subs. Anderson has, I believe, 5 subs as well. Let's see how many subs. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 4 subs. Sorry. He's got so many of these grappling fights that you don't even know. No, actually, he does have 5 subs. So it's 5 subs, 5 subs. No, actually 4. Sorry, 4 subs. Both these guys are pretty much finishers, but level of opposition, I would favor for sure on the Damian Anderson side. I think he's faced a little bit better competition, but both guys are not facing anything special. Gabriel Wanderlei is probably the best opponent for both these guys. Again, this is going to come down to who is going to control the grappling, right? I think Ezra Elliott kind of will dictate where this fight, where he wants this fight to go, because I don't think Damian Anderson is going to have success grappling, like trying to take him down. But I do think Damian is the better jiu-jitsu guy of these two. I mean, look at Damian's background in jiu-jitsu, man. And losing to like absolute elite grapplers in the grappling world. Andrew Tackett by Golden Score. I mean, freaking Andrew Tackett's one of the best in the world. Cole Abate, these guys he's losing to in grappling are the best and the best. And this guy's honestly a phenom when it comes to submissions. I mean, he subbed Gabriel Wanderlei, who's really, really good on the ground, young prospect, very, very good prospect and very, very good jiu-jitsu from Wanderlei. He was able to sub him. They were going leg lock for leg lock, and he was the better leg locker. So it's an interesting fight. There's no line right now. If I had to guess on this line, I'm going to guess that this is going to open near pick'em, honestly. I think it's going to be very, very close. Maybe it might be slightly shaded towards Elliott, maybe like minus 115, 120, maybe, even 130 Elliott. But I don't think it's going to be much more, honestly. I think this is a very close fight. I think the guy with more, I guess, proven cardio, I would say, is Damon Anderson, just because he has a lot of round 2 finishes. So I would give him the cardio edge, but we really don't know with Ezra Elliott. Every single fight is a first round finish. He hasn't gone past the 4-minute mark in the pros. His lone fight that went round 2, he got a sub, and then the other one, it was a split decision win in Amis, but that was 3 years ago. So when you look at these guys, it's 2 prospects. I'm surprised they're matching these guys up on a fight night card. I'm going to lean Ezra Elliott here just because I think he can dictate where he wants this fight to go. Like if he wants it on the feet, I think he could keep it there. And if he wants to get the takedowns, I think he can get the takedowns. So it's going to be interesting. He has a height advantage, not by much, nothing crazy. He is the younger of the two, but I think this is a really good matchup. Like I'm probably not going to bet anything on this fight, especially if it's like around pick'em. I don't really see any value. So, but my official pick, I'm going to go with Ezra Elliott, slightly here, slightly Ezra Elliott. I think it's super close. Moving on. Let's go to wait, this is the second fight of the night. What's the second fight of the night? Here we go. It is. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. Second fight of the night. It is in the flyweight division. It is the 6-1 Anna Melisano versus the 9-4 Deanny Barbosa. And currently Barbosa minus 600 with the comeback on Crutchfield or Melisano, whatever you want to call her, at plus 450. I think this is a one-sided fight, in my opinion. I think Deanny Barbosa is the more fluid striker, is the better striker. She's the much better grappler. She's the natural 25er. I know Melisano has fought at 25 before, I believe, but the majority of her fights of late have been at, 115. And I can tell you, when you watch the tape on these fights, she's just like the much bigger girl, much stronger girl at 15, right? So, the one time she fought at 25 was against Cheyenne Bowers in her pro debut, and she got subbed, in round 2. Now, if you look, they don't have this on her record, but her last fight was actually a tough fight in the Tough House against Amaya. And Amaya's known as as a grappler, I believe. And, she was kind of getting the best of Melisano on the feet, even striking. If you even go back to her fight against Andrea Amaro on Fury, she was kind of getting lit up on her feet, man. She was losing that fight. And then she landed a beautiful step and elbow, I believe, that just sliced Amaro open. And then they had the doctor stoppage. So, yeah, I mean, Deanny Barbosa is a really good grappler. We've seen her grapple some really good girls. I mean, she out-grappled Gatto, who's very, very hard to grapple. She's strong. She pretty much out-grappled Karini Silva as well. I think this is a layup, man. It's a layup for Deanny Barbosa. Obviously, I'm not telling you to run to the window at minus 600, but I do think this is a layup for Barbosa. I think she's going to finish her in this fight. Probably sub, because Melisano does seem to be kind of durable and tough on the feet, but she gets hurt. I've seen her get hurt on the feet. And I do think Danny Barbosa is probably the best striker she's ever faced. Honestly, Danny Barbosa looked really, really good. I had her last fight against Gato, and she looked good in my opinion. She got that point taken and still easily won the fight. So, yeah, I think this is Barbosa here all day, all night. Anna, I don't even know why the UFC gave her this. Maybe they couldn't find anybody else, but she went into tough as the number 1 seed, picked the number 1. She got ran through in round 1. So, yeah, I'm not really too like happy to see this signing. I don't even understand the signing, but maybe she drops down to 15 after this and does a little better. I don't know, but yeah, I like Barbosa here quite a bit. Miles, what's up, my man? Cameron says Melisano is very bad. I don't know if I would say she's very bad. I think her grappling is very bad. Honestly, it's pretty damn bad. Moise says Amaro wins 9 out of 10. I kind of agree. She wins pretty much high clip. Quinn, what's up, my man? Thank you for joining. All right. Next one. It's in the heavyweight division. It is the 5-0 RJ Harris versus the 7-1 Alvin Hines. And right now, Alvin Hines, yeah, minus 142 with the comeback of plus 122 on RJ Harris. So RJ Harris, taking this on very, very short notice here. Alvin Hines was expected to fight Alan Fry Jr., which I think was an easy matchup for him. I think he gets a little bit of a harder matchup in RJ Harris just because of the size. RJ Harris a little bit, I don't know how much better he is than Fry, but I would say a little bit better than Fry. Probably more durable. I mean, Fry was durable in that one fight where he got his ass beat. But both these guys, honestly, when I put on the tape, they're very durable, right? Both guys very durable. Both guys are primarily grapplers, but they strike a lot. RJ Harris, his wrestling is not good. It sucks. It sucks. That's my thing on him. His wrestling is awful. Alvin Hines, the better wrestler of the two. Alvin Hines, the better grappler of the two. Alvin Hines, the better striker of the two, to be honest. More athletic, more explosive. Harris is more of a just plotty, walk you down type of guy. Very big, very good chin. Both these guys have crazy good chins, right? The thing with Hines is, he got suspended for popping for a lot of steroids. It wasn't just 1 or 2. It was a bunch of shit. And how is he going to come back a year off, right? A year off, off the steroids. I really don't know. I really don't know how much that helped him. And I really don't know how much that's going to affect him. Maybe he's still on him. We don't even know. We don't even know with no USADA now. I don't even know. I don't see many suspensions, to be honest. There is some fights where Harris hasn't looked great. Charlie Cleveland fight, he was kind of getting worked. He didn't look great in that fight. I think the Austin Green fight, kind of a lot of cage pushing, stuff like that. It wasn't a great look as well. But somehow, some way, he gets these wins. He gets these wins. He gets these finishes. He's tough. Like I said, he's durable. His gas tank is okay. I think Hines probably has the better gas tank. But listen, at the end of the day, both these two guys are very, very freaking hittable. We saw Hines take an absolute beating against Denise, but man, he showed a lot of heart and came back in round 3. Very, very impressive to do that because Denise is a way better striker than RJ Harris. Like, it's not even close. So for me, it's like, I like the guy that's more experienced. I like the guy that has already fought in the UFC. I like the guy that's probably the better, well-rounded fighter here. He's better striker, in my opinion. He's faster. He's the better wrestler. Probably faced better, level of opposition. And the only thing that could kind of hold you back is the fact that, he's coming off that steroid thing. If you look at his Instagram, it's kind of bearish. Like he started a business where he's helping fighters, kind of guiding them where to invest their money, stuff like that. He opened up a business of just helping fighters where to invest their money because, this guy was in jail. He was broke. He was this and that. He's got a long story, but I think it's Alvin Hines here, honestly. I'm not really impressed with this RJ Harris guy just marching forward, eating punches, no real wrestling. He's just big and he's tough. But yeah, Alvin Hines the better fighter. I mean, he's the better fighter to me. Watching tape, just he's even way more athletic than RJ Harris. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Hines here. I'm gonna go with Hines. Don't have a bet on it, but I might. Who knows? But I think he's the side. Moving on, next fight. It is in the flyweight division. It is the 8-3 Stuart Nicoll versus the 12-3 Eldon Coria. Currently, Coria is a minus 1,000 favorite with the comeback on Stuart Nicoll at plus 700. I mean, this is a one-sided fight. I mean, Eldon Coria has looked incredible in his 2 UFC fights, right? He came in short notice. I had a bet on him in that fight at huge plus money against Alessandro Costa, and he looked like the rightful favorite in that fight. Like he should have been the favorite. Absolutely pieced up Costa. Costa hurt his foot. And just basically just was the better fighter that night. He looked really good. He's the main training partner for Joshua Van. He's got good experience when you look at his days in the amateur scene. I mean, in the regional scene, he's fought good guys on the regional scene. I know he hasn't looked good in some fights years ago, but I think he's leveled up a lot, man. He's leveled up quite a bit. Similar in a way to Joshua Van. He leveled up. This guy has leveled up as well. He's leveled up his grappling. He's leveled up his striking. He could fight out of both stances. He's really, really technical. I think if there's one thing I hate, I guess, about Eldon Coria is that he's kind of low volume. He kind of picks his shots, doesn't really go crazy. He's very methodical in his striking approach, which it's good from a defensive perspective, but his offense, he kind of lacks volume. So I think that's the only thing I can really nitpick on this guy, and not much else. He's looked very, very good in his last 2 fights. Kind of just pieced up Guruli for 3 rounds. Even won the grappling there against Guruli, which is impressive because Guruli is a good wrestler. So, he looked good in that fight. Stuart Nicoll, on the other hand, I guess, you know what? I'll take it back. Stuart Nicoll actually looked a lot better in his last fight, even though he got finished in round 2, than his fight against Rocha. In his fight against Rocha, I mean, this guy looked like one of the worst strikers I've ever seen, man. Ducking down, doing all kinds of weird shit. Against Alessandro Costa, he had a little bit more of a process. He was calf kicking. He was moving, switching stances. He was throwing a lot of spinning shit, he does that a lot. I think that's very, very bad against good strikers. But he looked a little bit better against Costa, to be honest. And I had Costa to win inside the distance there. I was kind of sweating because he hurt him. He got his back. He couldn't get him. Then finally he landed a big body shot and just put him out. The thing that sticks out with Stuart Nicoll a lot is I think this guy slows down quite a bit in his fights. Rocha fight, he looked awful in round 3. Costa fight, he was starting to slow down a lot in round 2. He was starting to backpedal. And I think Eldon Coria kind of picks up in his fights. He gets better as the fight goes on. I think round 1 is probably his slowest round, Coria, but then he starts picking it up. He starts working the body. He starts working the head. He starts working his kicks. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really see how Nicoll wins this fight. I don't think he's the better wrestler. He might have the better jiu-jitsu, maybe, even then. But he's not the better wrestler. He's not the better striker. He doesn't have the better cardio. Like, everything favors Coria here. No wonder he's minus 1,000. I mean, I think it's a slam dunk, easy win for Eldon Coria. It's just a matter of how do you think he's going to win? Is it decision? Is it KO? Is it submission? That's basically what, if anything you can bet on, that's the only thing you can bet on is a method here. And I'm not really sure yet how he's going to get it done, but yeah, I like his side here quite a bit. But it's the number's stupid. Moving on. Next fight, it is in the light heavyweight division. It is the 10-2 Felipe Franco versus the 5-0 Levi Rodrigues Jr. Rodrigues Jr. currently minus 155 and a comeback on Franco at plus 135. This is another guy in Rodrigues that got suspended, right? This guy has been out, I believe, 6 months for him. Let me check. Levi Rodrigues. Yeah, more than 6 months. He fought Freddie Vidal in Contender Series October. So you're looking at like almost 10 months, 9 months here. He's been out for 9 months. He also got popped, I think, for DECA. Levi Rodrigues, some question marks on him, to be honest. Like, one, I really have no idea what this guy looks like off his back. What's his jiu-jitsu like? How does he react to guys that are on top that have good grappling? I have no idea. There's really not much tape on this guy to see. He's fought all these guys that he's fought are strikers, except Freddie Vidal. And Freddie Vidal kind of like cage pushed and held him there for a little while. But then, he caught Freddie and knocked out Freddie there. Felipe Franco didn't have that much success with Freddie Vidal. Freddie Vidal kind of just outworked him in the grappling, kind of slowed him down. Franco gassed, and Vidal finished him in round 3, which is a bad look. But last fight, he comes back. He takes the fight, I believe, on short notice, up a weight class at heavyweight versus one of the, I want to call him prospect, but not for me. I know everybody else loves Mario Pinto. I don't think he's a big prospect for me. But whatever it may be, Pinto's undefeated. He's 12-0. He's kind of like ran through his competition in the UFC. And he had a lot of trouble with Franco. Franco was striking with him. Franco was even grappling him. Pinto fought really weird. Just a lot of grappling, a lot of cage pushing from him. When you're the much better striker, you're much longer. I don't even understand what Mario Pinto was doing in that fight. Like, maybe he was scared of the power because Felipe Franco was throwing hard. I have no idea, honestly. I really don't. I have zero idea what was going on in that fight. But Pinto just wanted to cage push and strike. And I have no idea why. Because I mean, cage push and grapple. Because I think he should be the much, much better striker of the two. So it was a weird look from Pinto. But Felipe Franco is a can crusher. I mean, for the most part, like, he's beat nobody. Regional, he was fighting in those malls, those demo fight promotion, which is one of the worst to do it. And then he came back and fought in 2 weird promotions again, got 2 first-round finishes, and then UFC called him for a short notice. So he looked good last fight. I don't know. I think Rodrigues hits very, very hard. That's one thing I can tell you for sure. He hits very, very hard, and he swings very hard. I just don't know about his grappling. Like, what happens when Franco gets on top of this guy in side control or in full mount? What does Rodrigues do? How does he react? I know he's from the same gym from Matsumoto, that Muay Thai gym. He has good kicks. He's the better striker of the two for sure, in my opinion. But I just can't lay this price on him, and I honestly can't play Franco either. I don't really trust him. His cardio might be worse at 205, honestly. Like, he fought at heavyweight, didn't have to cut weight. Maybe that helped him because his cardio does not look good. Did not look good against Freddie Vidal at all. I know there was a lot of grappling in that fight, but you have to take into account this guy's never been out of round 1 outside of the Vidal fight and the Pinto fight. But the Pinto fight was at heavyweight, so I think that helped him a lot. So, yeah. I'm going to go with Levi Rodrigues to win here, but no real confidence, honestly. It's a pass fight for me. Next one. We are back in the welterweight division. It is the 10-2 John Paul Lebosnoyani versus the 13-2 Siak Yan Ko. And currently Ko is a minus 200 favorite with the comeback on John Paul Lebosnoyani at plus 170. Very good matchup, in my opinion. 2 guys that are, kind of up and coming in the welterweight division, I would say. Ko definitely up and coming as he's looked dominant in his wins. You know, Elliott absolutely ragdolled him as a huge underdog, and I played him there. I think he was upwards of like 400 and stuff. He looked great there, and then against Phil Rowe, completely dominated Rowe on the mat. You know, just takedown control. Never really I close to finishing, but just lots of control. Very good on top. Got a judo background. He's good on the feet too. I don't think he's bad on the feet. I mean, he's in and out karate, kind of like bladed karate style, but he throws that nice left hand. He has some power on it. And his opponent, John Paul Lebosnoyani, honestly, I'm very impressed with him as well. You know, I know he won a split against Phil Rowe, and it's okay, not the best look, but I think Phil Rowe is a much different fighter than Ko. You know, first of all, the length gave Lebosnoyani some problems on the feet. Like, you couldn't really get to him on the feet like you wanted to. He uses a lot of kicks and a lot of these high kicks that are really, really good, and probably hard to get to Rowe up there at 6'3", 6'4", whatever he is. But he still managed to. I don't agree with the split. I don't see why it was a split. I thought he won 2 rounds clear. Even round 3 he was winning clear up until the end when he got rocked towards the end of the fight. The biggest thing for me here is, like, I think John Paul has more weapons on the feet. I think he's probably a little bit better in the striking. And I do think Ko is the better wrestler of these two, but I don't think he has the better jiu-jitsu of the two, right? JPL is a black belt. He's really good on the ground. He threatens a lot of his opponents on the mat, man. He's very, very dangerous on the mat. And I think if this fight, you know, and I do think it hits the mat, and I do think Ko is going to get the takedowns, it's not going to be that easy to just stay on top of JPL. That's going to be the biggest difference. I don't think this is Elliott off his back, and I don't think this is it's Phil Rowe off his back. You know, this guy's much better, much more dangerous than both those guys. And then, like I mentioned on the feet, I just think, you know, he's a little bit better in the striking. He's got more weapons, the kicks, you know, the variety, the switching of stances. I think he has all of that, you know. So I kind of thought when I looked at this, I'm like, man, this line looks a little bit too big. Like, Ko could be a favorite, sure, but minus 200 area, you know, 230. I think it's a little bit of a recency bias on Ko. You know, he was up to minus 235. It's come down a little bit, but yeah, I think this is very competitive. Honestly, I really think this is very competitive. I think Lebosnoyani is better on the feet. I think he is more durable. We've seen Ko knocked out cold, you know, in the regional scene. John Paul is as tough as they come, man. The way he got stopped in that fight was he ate an elbow and it's just split his whole entire forehead open. That's how he got stopped. It wasn't like he quit. It wasn't like just a huge gash and it got stopped. But man, this guy he's well-rounded. He's young. He did get knocked out years ago against Spike Carlisle. And Spike Carlisle hits very, very hard. But yeah, I mean, man, I can't, you know, I can't see why Ko is such a big favorite. You know, I get the grappling, but he hasn't shown me so much on the feet that this guy should be minus 200 here against another guy that can grapple, you know, in John Paul. So yeah, I mean, I'd rather take the younger guy by 5 years. The guy is probably leveling up his game a little bit more. He's a big underdog, you know, semi-big underdog here. I'm going to go with the upset here. I'm going to go with JPL for the win. Ko is a really good fighter. I'm not underestimating him whatsoever, but I think it's a lot closer, and I'm going to take my shot here with JPL to pull this one off. Next one, it's in the featherweight division. It is the 14-1 Austin Bashi versus the 11-2 Jose Delgado. Currently, Delgado minus 117, a little bit higher to the minus 103 on Austin Bashi. What a fight, man. This is an exceptional fight here. Two young, hungry prospects. Obviously, Jose Delgado has more UFC experience. Bashi only has a couple of UFC fights. He hasn't fought in almost a year. But both these guys have pretty big advantages when it comes to, their realm of fighting. Austin Bashi is going to be the better grappler here. He's going to be the better wrestler. He's going to have the better jiu-jitsu, while Jose Delgado is going to be the much better striker. He's longer, he's bigger, and he hits harder, right? So, both these guys are pretty damn durable. I think Jose Delgado is going to have opportunity to land the knees up the middle. When you watch the Christian Rodrigues fight, Rodrigues landed a very flush knee to Austin Bashi's chin. Bashi took it and still got a takedown, to his credit. So I do think this kid is very tough. I do think he's durable. The same thing could kind of be said for Jose Delgado. I know he's been dropped before. I know he's been hurt, but this is a guy in Jose Delgado who is never been finished. He's training at the MMA lab, so his grappling defense is going to be good. It's a matter of how Delgado gets up. If he does his usual, giving up your back, he does that a lot in his fights where he gets taken down. He quickly turns and gives up his back. I think that's not a good move here against Bashi. I think Bashi, he puts the hooks in very quick. He puts a body triangle in very quick. He's very dangerous when he's on your back. So Delgado needs to be careful. I mean, Conor Matthews got his back. There's Feely where he gave up his back a couple of times. Feely didn't go for it, but there was times there he could have taken his back. Bashi, even though in his UFC debut didn't look the best, slowed down. I think this guy has elite cardio. When I look at his training, the way he fights, when I look at his regional fights where, he's gone 5 rounds and looked absolutely incredible for all 5, just grappling his ass off, no slowing down. So there's nothing for me to think that this guy doesn't have great cardio. I think it's 1, UFC debut, and 2, Christian Rodrigues is probably one of the best scramblers in the entire UFC. Very hard to hold down, very squirmy, hard, just very, very hard to hold down this guy. And you see Jose Delgado, and it's like, man, this guy gives up his back too much. He can get taken down. You watched the Makate fight years ago, and I know Makate is a good wrestler, but my God, taking him down, mounting him multiple times, arm triangle. Makate's probably a better wrestler, like credentially, than Bashi, but I think Bashi's right there with him when it comes to MMA wrestling. He's a really, really good MMA wrestler, Bashi. So, and he has better jiu-jitsu, way better jiu-jitsu than Makate. So, I don't know, man. This is a really close matchup. I lean Austin Bashi here because I think if there's one guy that will have a huge advantage or will look like a huge favorite, I think it's Bashi, because he could take multiple backs. I mean, he could get the back multiple times. I think he can. I think he can get on top and just stay on top of Delgado, let Delgado make a mistake and potentially sub him. On the feet, I do think Delgado could hurt Bashi. Like I said, knees up the middle. He's much longer. He's got this unorthodox type of striking with stepping in with different stuff. You don't know where strikes are coming from. So I do think he could potentially hurt Bashi on the feet. And the way he probably looks, big favors, obviously knocking Bashi out. But I think Bashi is durable. I really do. And I think for me, I think he has got a big grappling edge, like jiu-jitsu wise, the way Delgado stands up, gives up his back. I just don't like seeing that. And he does that all the time. It's just something that he does, when he goes to stand up, it's turn, give up your back and go, crawl to the fence or just stand up, So yeah, I'm going to go with Austin Bashi here, man. I think he's going to get it done. I think this guy, I'm going to say it now, I think he might be a future champion. I'm being totally serious. I think this guy could potentially be a future champion. He's only 24. He's grinding his ass off. He trained with Alessandro Costa and Lopez, Diego Lopez, for quite a bit. This guy is built like a brick house, and to me, I think it's striking when you go back to look at the Giannis fight, just for the 30, 40 seconds, whatever they're striking, he looked a lot more comfortable in that fight. And Giannis is a good striker, looked a lot more comfortable. And, the timing of his takedown was really, really good. And, immediately subbed Giannis, which, you could say whatever you want about Giannis. He's looked good in his couple of fights in the UFC. He finished at one fight, and he looked very competitive against one of the top guys in the division in Marcus McGee. Marcus McGee, really, really good fighter. So we'll see, but I'm going Bashi here. I think Bashi is going to win this one. And, I don't know if it's going to be sub or decision, but I lean his side here. Let's see what Moise is saying. Bashi was 5'2" and wrestled 1-3. 9 years later, he's fighting 145. It's 5'6". The unders Ricci. I mean, he's built like a brick house, man. Holy cow. Did you see his IG? It's crazy. Jackie Blaine says, I max bet Fatima parlayed with Aiden when the line came out, minus 240. That KO number for JP might end up in a Lambo. We'll see. That's a different show. All right. Next one. It is also in the featherweight division. It is the 11-1 Alberto Montes versus the 10-0 Tommy McMillen. Oh, wow. I didn't even know this line got this big, but Tommy McMillen up to minus 150 with the comeback on Montes at plus 130. Wow. This one really surprising me. It's moving one way. It's all one-way action on Tommy McMillan. Kind of get it in a way. He's the much bigger guy. He's got a 5-inch height, 5-inch reach. I don't even know if he's the better striker, or I guess he's the better wrestler for sure. But I don't know if he's the better striker of these two. I think Montes is probably technically more sound. And I think Montes might be a little bit better, more dangerous with subs. Obviously, those front chokes. But there's a couple of red flags, honestly, with Montes. And this is a guy that I kind of want to fade. I kind of wanted to fade this guy. Even with Tercios, I wanted to fade this guy, but Tercios got caught. Is the fact that Montes, when he's getting backed up, man, he shells up a lot. He shells up. He doesn't like to be hit. I could tell you that right now. He's been KO'd before. He's been hurt in these other fights before. He's just one of those guys that just wants the fight to look pretty. And he's got an opponent that's the exact opposite. He wants the fucking fight to look ugly and dirty and disgusting and just wild, I don't know how he's going to deal with Tommy McMillen, man. The pace, the pressure, I don't think he's going to like it. The thing is, Tommy McMillen is sloppy as hell, man. Like, when I watch this guy's tape, I'm running his tape. It's god-awful, man. I'll be honest with you guys. Like, his best attribute is his defensive wrestling, let's say, and his cardio and heart. But skill-wise, I'm sorry, Tommy McMillen sucks. Like, there's no one that can watch this guy's tape and say this guy's skilled. He's not skilled. He's not skilled at all. He's trying to replicate O'Malley, and it's not even fucking close. The striking is awful. Hands are down. He gets really loopy and wild. The guy is just not good, man. He's not good. He's not polished. Maybe he gets better. I don't know. But the thing with Montes is I kind of think this is a bad matchup for him. Like, if he doesn't get the Darce, he's screwed. He's going to get broken. Tommy McMillen is going to break this guy. I can already tell you, like, Montes watching his tape, he does not like dog fights. He does not like, being in dirty fights. He wants it to be technical. He wants it to be on his terms. And most of all, he wants to get you with the front choke. He's the best at it, right? Like, he has insane front chokes, right? And maybe Tommy is stupid enough to grapple and put his head in there. But also, Tommy is very good with his front. When you look, he's got a lot of guillotines, stuff like that. So he's probably pretty good with those front chokes. But I will tell you, like, if Montes catches him with it, it's probably good night. Honestly, it's probably good night. He's just really good with it, with the Darce and Anaconda. So I think eventually Tommy gets this guy, man. Tommy's going to put the pressure. He's not going to let this guy just sit at range and kick him and do all this other stuff. He is going to be much bigger, much longer, and he's got the much better heart and cardio, honestly. That's basically what this fight comes. When you say skill for skill, I'll take Montes all day. If you told me skill for skill, yeah, give me plus 130 easily. But the heart, the cardio, the toughness, it's all day McMillen, man. And I think he's going to dog this one out. He's going to Maybe he gets hurt on the feet. Maybe, you know, he's in some kind of choke, and maybe this guy Gator rolls out. I mean, the choke that McGoyan had on him with his neck twisted up in mounted guillotine, I mean, it's disgusting. It looks like his neck is going to snap, and he doesn't tap. So he is very, very fucking mentally tough. You could tell. The guy is just an insanely mentally tough dude. And Montes, I feel, is quite the opposite. He's mentally not tough. And I think this is going to be an uphill battle for him. Maybe starts out good. I think it's a great live spot on Tommy McMillen, by the way. You want to bet Tommy? I think it's a little bit better to bet him live, because I think Montes is going to slow down in this fight. What do we got? Bloomdog says that's no bueno versus Tommy Gunn. His hair is awful. I agree. Montes wins, says C4. Yeah, Tommy survived that choke. It was insane. I thought his neck was snapping off or something when you look at that. So, yeah, I think Tommy wins. Honestly, I really do. It's you know, I can't wait to fade Tommy. I'll be honest with you guys, but this is not the guy. I don't think this is the guy. You want another like kind of dog that has good skills, and I think that guy will fuck up Tommy. Moving on. Next fight, it is in the strawweight division. It is the 12-4 Tabitha Ricci versus the 9-1 Fatima Kline, and currently Kline minus 450, and a comeback on Ricci at plus 350. I know this line. You know, when you look at Ricci's historically, this is what's funny. I'm going to read it out to you guys. So Ricci was a plus 105 against Verna. She was a plus 160 against Ribas. She was a plus 155 against Yan. And then she was a favorite in most of her other fights outside of Godonias. And now she's a huge underdog versus Fatima Kline. I mean, plus 350. And the reason is, and here's the thing, the reason is I'm just not sure where Ricci's better than Kline. Like, Kline's a better striker. Kline's a better grappler. I think the gap in striking is very, very big. Look at the size advantage, man. 5 inches, 6 inches in reach. You know which fight this reminds me of a little bit for Ricci? This reminds me of the Ferro fight where she moved up, you know, to 125 and she got absolutely just hossed by her. So, like, I feel like this is very, very similar to that, in that, you know, not to say that Kline is as physical as Ferro or anything. It's just she's much bigger than her, and she's the better striker than her. She hits harder than her. You know, she hits hard, Kline, and she's got those good kicks. In Tabitha's so fucking short, man. Like, I really don't see many pats for Ricci here. Like, I think people are saying that I think Ricci can stuff takedowns, but I don't think she's the better striker. Absolutely not. I think Kline is the much better striker. Way more power, way more polished, has the great kicking game. I think Ricci needs takedowns, to be honest. Similar approach to JJ. Like, try to get takedowns, get on top, maybe win some minutes like that and mix them in. I don't think she has a chance in hell on the feet. She's fucked. So I think she needs takedowns. The problem is, you know, she might put herself in submissions. I doubt Kline's going to submit her because she is very, very good on the ground. Ricci is. I don't really see a submission here from either girl. I don't think submission comes. I mean, Jandiroba had a bunch of takedowns against Ricci, didn't? Yeah, she had 8 minutes of control. Didn't even have a sub attempt against her. So, and I would say Jandiroba's jiu-jitsu is much better than Kline's. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like this fight is one-way traffic for the most part. I mean, I don't really see many paths for Ricci here. You know, I think UFC loved her. I think she kind of fell out, you know, not looking great in these last fights. You know, I know the Ribas fight, you know, she landed that elbow against the cage, but she didn't look great there. You know, Yan fight, she didn't look great there. You know, she got dominated in that fight. Yeah, I mean, Kline shouldn't lose here. If she loses here, it's a big red flag for her, honestly. This is a good matchup for her. You know, outside of, I said, like, maybe Tabitha can get multiple takedowns and somehow hold her down, but I really don't see it. I really don't see that. Jasmine had success, but Jasmine's way bigger, way stronger than a girl like Ricci. So, C4 says Kline has said she wants a sub. I doubt it, man. I don't think she's subbing Ricci. Ricci's really good on the mat, especially sub defense. Has anybody even attempted a sub on her? Not even. She has not faced. That's incredible. She has not faced a single sub attempt in her UFC career. Not one. No one's even attempted a sub on her. That's crazy. And she's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11 UFC fights, not a single sub attempt. And there's been a shitload of grappling in every fight almost. So I don't know. Weird. Never even faced a sub attempt. I don't think she's ever been subbed either, right? No, she's never been subbed. Yeah, I mean, I don't see this, man. I don't see her subbing her. Like, Fatima Kline also prefers to strike. She doesn't prefer to grapple. You could see her in her fights. She prefers to strike. Verna didn't even attempt one. No, she had 0 attempts. Yeah, but part of not attempting one is knowing that Tabitha's staying safe. She's not putting herself into those submission attempts, No, maybe she did, but according to the stats, she didn't. So I don't know. It's easier to get a sub when you get beat up. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true too. She can club and sub potentially. All right. Let's move on. Next fight. We got a couple more to do and we're done. It is in the lightweight division. It is the 8-3 Mitch Ramirez versus the 16-5-1 Chase Hooper. Currently, Chase Hooper is a minus 350 favorite with the comeback on Ramirez at plus 285. I mean, there's a couple of red flags with Ramirez. I mean, getting your back taken in back-to-back fights, not the best look. Getting RNCs sunk in with Thiago Moises and Mike Davis, not a great look. But then you look at it on the other side and say, damn, man, this guy was able to fight off a RNC by Moises that was under his chin. He was also able to fight off a RNC with Mike Davis under his chin. Both these guys, black belts, very, very good on the mat. It's kind of a good sign, like he can get out of them. He knows how to defend them, even though he let them get to that position. He does know how to defend them. And then when you look at Chase Hooper, you say to yourself, well, Chase Hooper is kind of a sub or bust type of guy, right? Like he needs to get you to the mat and he needs to potentially sub you. If not, he's in big trouble. The biggest problem for me with Chase Hooper is that he's so unathletic. He's such a bad wrestler. He's not a good wrestler. It's like, and he's not physical at all. He's still very, very weak. It's like he's facing a guy in Mitch Ramirez who is strong. He actually has a wrestling background, Mitch Ramirez. He's a guy that fought at 170 before. So he's gonna be much stronger than Chase Hooper. And the other thing, when you look at Mitch Ramirez in his regional tape, and Chase Hooper's a southpaw, Mitch Ramirez switches southpaw a lot and destroys the calf. And Chase Hooper has no idea how to check kicks, man. He's got zero idea how to fucking check a kick. He's bad. And he's got those long limbs that are skinny. So I think if Mitch Ramirez is smart, he's going to come out southpaw here and destroy Chase Hooper's calf. The only thing with Rich Ramirez is he's so flat-footed and like non-athletic. He's not very athletic that he could just swing very hard and get clinched up and potentially taken down with a body lock, stuff like that. That is a scenario that can happen. He's not, when you look at Chase Hooper losing to, let's see, Lance Gibson, right? Lance Gibson is athletic. He's explosive. He's a lot faster than Ramirez. The same thing with Alex Hernandez, right? But look at the wins for Chase Hooper. They're all these guys that he's won are primarily grapplers, man. Borishev is the only one that's not a grappler, and he dropped Borishev with a jab and then basically killed him on the mat. But every time he's faced strikers, guys that can strike like Steve Garcia, Hernandez, Gibson, even Steven Peterson, He's had a lot of trouble, man, with guys that can strike, the guys that are, strong and they can defend takedowns. He's had a shit ton of trouble. Most of these other guys are willing to grapple with him. Jim Miller, willing to grapple. Guida, willing to grapple. Levitt, willing to grapple. Fior, willing to grapple. All these guys were willing to grapple with him. If Mitchell Ramirez is stupid, then maybe he's willing to grapple with him. But I honestly think he's very live to knock out Hooper. He's probably a much harder hitter than Gibson and Hernandez. Mitch Ramirez. He swings hard. He's got KO power. I mean, this is a guy that was competing with Prates in round 1. Honestly, he actually took Prates down in round 1 in that contender series fight. So I think this guy has a lot of power. I think, round 2 against Mike Davis, he rocked Mike Davis in round 2. Chase Hooper, if he's standing in this fight, I think he's going to get KO'd, honestly. But if he gets takedowns, obviously that's his world. And I do think he could potentially sub Ramirez. But how can you lay minus 350 on this guy who shit the bed over and over as a big favorite? Like, how? He was minus 330 against Gibson. He got ran through. He was minus 400 against Hernandez. He got ran through. I mean, you can't play this guy as a big favorite. He was minus 300 against Steve Garcia. He got murdered. So why? I mean, I know Mitch Ramirez is not very good, but he's got the attributes to knock out Chase Hooper. He's more physical. He has a wrestling background. And if Hooper doesn't get takedowns, he might pull guard actually here. Honestly, he might try to pull guard and go sweep. And Mitch Ramirez might be stupid enough to play in the guard. But on the feet, I think he gets murdered. If Ramirez lands, Chase Hooper is absolutely going to go to sleep. So I'm going to go with the upset again. I think Chase Hooper's days are numbered. I don't think this guy, he was good while it lasted as a project for the UFC, but that project has gone downhill. I mean, they gave him a fight in Seattle, in his hometown, against a guy like Gibson, and he looked awful. Gibson just beat him up and then just kind of out-physicaled him, just tossed him around, kind of framed, and then just gave him a knee, and Chase Hooper crumbled. So, yeah, I mean, this guy's days are numbered for me in the UFC. He could win this fight. I just don't think there's many fights he could win at lightweight, honestly. So, let's move on. Next fight, it is the co-main event, and it is in the middleweight division. It is the 18-9 Jared Cannonier versus the 14-2 Christian Leroy Duncan, and currently the price is minus 350, and the comeback is plus 285 on Cannonier. I mean, 42 years old. That's the first thing that sticks out here. You got a guy that's 42 years old, and Jared Cannonier still fighting. There was an interview about something that, he didn't have money, or if you listen to the interview, I don't remember where it was. Someone posted it in my Discord, but it sounds like he's complaining about money and being broke and all this other shit, which is a bad sign. Is he just fighting for money now? He just needs money. He didn't look great against Michael Page. I mean, he got dropped twice there. He won round 3, got a takedown, stayed on top. But when you look at all these fights recently, man, it's quite concerning with Cannonier that he keeps getting dropped. He keeps getting hurt. Gregory Rodrigues, he was on his way out early on, survived the storm. Caio Bahayo, he took an absolute fucking life-changing beating in that fight. Imavov, another fight where it was close, and then he got finished. I don't know about the stoppage there. It's kind of stupid, but he got hurt again. And the common theme is he's been getting hurt in every single one of his fights lately. And if you look at it, it's the last couple of years. In the last couple of years, he's hit that 39-40 mark, and he's getting older. Even though I think this Christian Leroy Duncan guy has a bad fight IQ for one. I think all this spinning shit that he does and stuff is going to come back to bite him. And it already has, actually. It already has. He did it a lot in the fight he lost. What's that guy that got cut? Let me see. Petrosian. He did it a lot in the Petrosian fight. Petrosian just let him spin and then would kick his legs and counter him all the time. And, you look at it, he's on a 4-fight win streak, and are these wins great? I mean, Andre Pulayev, okay, he looked good. Eric Anders, kind of close to retirement. I don't know what to make of that. Tulio fight, he looked pretty good, but I mean, Marco Tulio now, like 2 straight losses, almost got finished by Kopolov too. I don't know how good that guy is. You know, he's just a brawler. And then you got Roman Dolidze. He dominated Dolidze fight, don't get me wrong, up until he kind of like fell over somehow in a scramble and got his back taken by Dolidze in round 3. Other than that, he was kicking Dolidze's ass on the feet. The thing is, Cannonier is like much better than all of these guys when you talk about well-rounded fighter. He's got good striking, he can grapple, he can wrestle, and he hits very, very hard. So even at 42, I would take him over Tulio. I would take him over Dolidze. I would take him over Anders. I would take him over Pulayev. You know, so even though he's 42, I still think he's better than those guys. The only thing is it's his chin is so gone, man. Duncan's going to have a massive speed advantage, massive athletic advantage, massive durability edge at this point. I do think that Duncan will spin and do this shit, and if it doesn't land, he could get taken down by Cannonier, because Cannonier is a good wrestler still. I mean, he could get a takedown off a spin. But the bigger cage, the athleticism, the age gap, all this stuff leans Duncan. It honestly leans KO. I think he can land something crazy and hurt Cannonier very bad. And if he does, I think he could finish him. But with that being said, can I lay minus 350? Do I think minus 350 is right on Leroy Duncan? I don't think so. I don't think it's right, just because I think this is a step up, even from a, like, Dolidze is a one-trick pony. He sucks, right? Tulio's a brawler, you know, and even in that fight against Tulio landed on him a lot. I think this is a matchup more like a Gregory Rodrigues. Even though Gregory Rodrigues obviously is more younger and, you know, he's more well-rounded probably even than Cannonier. But we just saw Cannonier outlast, you know, Gregory Rodrigues 2 fights ago, right? And he was 40, what was he, 41 then? Yeah, he was 41. 41 then, or 40, and he outlasted Gregory Rodrigues even after being hurt and finish him. So I don't understand why minus 350. The age, there are concerns, Cannonier's chin, right? But the line just seems kind of wide to me, man. I can't really get to Duncan minus 350. I really can't. Like, could he land a spinning thing or jumping knee? Yes. But, like, if they're just technically striking and potentially grappling, there's no way this guy's minus 350, you know? So I think ultimately Christian Leroy Duncan's going to win. I think he's improved a little bit, but he's not a minus 350. I just can't do it. You know, I can't do it. His fight IQ is very questionable. I will tell you guys. I don't like the fight IQ, all the spinning stuff. It's going to work until it doesn't. You know, and then you're going to put yourself in a bad spot because you're spinning and getting your back taken or taken down. Yeah, I mean, I don't like this price at all. CLD KO, too fast, too big, lay minus 350. I wouldn't. I honestly wouldn't lay minus 350. No way. Massive step up for CLD. Go Jared. CLD looked enhanced recently. Seems more aggro. Yeah, it seems more aggro, but he still does this spinning shit. You know, and if you don't land it, you know, against Cannonier, it might just change levels and take you down, you know, forcing you to take dog. Think 3 rounds favors Jerry's typically eating shots late in 5-rounders. Not really. I mean, Rodrigues fight, he was hurt bad early. He actually needed the later rounds to come back in that fight. Yes, in the Bahayo fight, he got beat up late. Bad, man. Very, very bad. But even in Page fight, he got dropped the first 2 rounds and then looked a little better in round 3. So, yeah. All right. Guys, like, please subscribe, turn the notifications on, comment, Do all of that good stuff, please. I appreciate all of you. We got 330 live viewers. Thank you very much. I will keep doing these every week. If I get the views, I get the comments, the likes, I'm going to keep doing these full card breakdowns because, I mean, it's a way of, I guess, giving back to the community. I know I have a paid service on Odd Shopper and Tails that, people join the Discord, but at least I give you my thoughts on every fight, and then you guys could do your homework on your own and decide, what side you like as far as the numbers concerned. That being said, let's move on. Main event of the night, and it is in the middleweight division. It is the 21-4 Kamaru Usman versus the 23-3 Dricus du Plessis. And currently, du Plessis is a minus 230 favorite with the comeback on Usman at plus 195. I went into tape here thinking I'm going to probably bet du Plessis by KO. And I came away from tape saying, nah, I can't do it. I cannot do it because I'm watching Usman and I know he's 39, but he's looked good, honestly, lately. I know it's been, a year. I know the Hamzat fight was, 2.5, 3 years, but to me, he hasn't looked like bad. Yes, he's aged a little bit. Yes, his knees are probably a little bit worse, but I think when you look at the Chimaev fight, he kind of sized up pretty well against Chimaev, man. I thought he was going to be severely undersized, but then I rerun the fight and I'm like, man, he wasn't that much smaller. And du Plessis is not bigger than Chimaev. I'll tell you that. Even though Chimaev fought at 70, du Plessis is not bigger than Chimaev. Chimaev is much bigger than him. And I think he's going to size up pretty damn good against du Plessis, honestly. When I run the tape, I think they're going to size up well. The only issue for Usman here is going to be, I think du Plessis' weird, awkward style. I mean, he could land a big shot. He has a shit ton of power, du Plessis, and he's much different than a guy like Chimaev because Chimaev really not a striker, doesn't hit as hard as du Plessis, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, Usman has shown he has 5 rounds of cardio in all of his fights. He's shown he can still wrestle against Buckley. And I know Buckley has looked blah. I mean, off his back, he hasn't looked good. But listen, Usman can still wrestle. I saw du Plessis getting taken down. I know, forget the Chimaev fight. But he's been taken down by other guys. I mean, Whitaker took him down. Brunson took him down. Till took him down. He can get taken down. I know. I don't think that Usman will control du Plessis like he controlled Buckley. But here's the thing. When I run the tape on the feet, I actually think he's the cleaner striker, Usman. He's the better striker of these two. Du Plessis is more awkward, obviously, and he's always going to be the more awkward striker, not the cleaner guy. And, he does have more power here. He is 7 years younger here. But I think this is a competitive fight, man. I really, really believe this is going to be competitive. I mean, Usman was landing some really good strikes in round 3 against Chimaev. Beautiful 1-2s. He's cleaned up his striking a lot. His striking has looked better and better and better. Now, his knees are kind of shot. That's one thing is one thing that's very, very, scary with Usman is at any point his knees can just blow up, and he's on his last, it's probably bone to bone right now with his knees. But man, he still looks more athletic than du Plessis. He still looks more like he can get takedowns here. He still looks like the better striker here. It's plus 200, man. It's a lot. I feel like it's a lot. I didn't think I was going to want to bet Usman, but man, it looks like it's too big, this line. How does, this fight, here's the other thing. When you look at this fight, the over 3.5 is minus 200, minus 195, right? The fight goes is pick 'em, basically, plus 100. So you're telling me this fight is a pick 'em to go to distance and Usman is a plus 195? There's no way that's right. One of those lines has to be wrong, in my opinion, because I do think the better minute winner is potentially Usman, especially when you count the grappling. So either the fight goes is wrong or this money line's wrong. And I kind of feel like the money line's wrong. Honestly, it's wrong. Fight goes is probably right. More, because I do think Usman's still very, very durable. I mean, when's the last time he got the head kick? He got knocked out with the head kick, but has he ever been finished? No. That's his only loss by KO is the head kick KO. And that, I mean, that knocks anybody out. So, I mean, he took big shots from Buckley. He took big shots from Chimaev. He took some really good shots with Edwards in their second fight. Guy's chin is still good. It's very good chin. He's going to have a game plan. Look what he did against Buckley. He's going to have a game plan. He's going to probably try to wrestle here. Du Plessis, also, one more thing I need to add, I have it right there in my notes, is he loves to go guillotine a lot. Like, he loves to go for the guillotine when guys are grappling him, and he ends up on bottom. He did it 4 or 5 times against Chimaev. Instead of digging underhooks, he goes guillotine, which it's probably going to end up on his back if he does that against Usman. And Usman, he's not going to get subbed by guillotine. He's going to go right to the side. He's a good, very, very good wrestler. So, yeah, I don't understand this line. I really don't get this line. I think it's too big. I haven't bet it yet, but I was hoping more Du Plessis money comes because this line kind of cratered. It was, what was it? It was plus, man, he hit 300, but that was in May. But, yeah, I mean, still, it was plus, he hit plus 250-ish, 240. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the upset here, man. I'm gonna go with Usman. I know I said yesterday, 2 days ago, I'm like, I think Du Plessis might knock him out. But after him running more tape, man, Usman's still durable. I know he's 39, still very durable. Still could wrestle his ass off. Still got cardio. I'm not gonna doubt him yet. I haven't seen anything to doubt him yet. Short notice, up a weight class against Chimaev, completely different fighter. And he still competed there. That's the crazy thing. He still competed really, really well after I ran the tape. I thought he did excellent in that fight based on the circumstances. After round 1, he absolutely almost got finished and destroyed. He came back in round 2 and 3 and really made that a competitive fight. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with the upset again here in Kamaru Usman to round out the night. So, yeah, guys, I appreciate everybody. 363 live viewers. Link down below. My Discord, $25 a month. Best price out there. Best Discord out there. It's growing every week. We got BKFC this week. We got BKB this week. We have PFL. There's a shit ton of stuff this week. I'm going to have to, I just finished up UFC. I'm going to run the tape on all this other stuff. There's ACA on Friday. Lots of good stuff. A lot of good people in the Discord. You're going to love it. I'm telling you guys. It's, if you're serious about, making a side income, growing a bankroll, doing all that stuff, it's all discussed in there. I talk about bankroll management. I talk about, I always tell guys, if there's one thing you want to learn in betting is bankroll management and getting the best numbers. If you can get the best numbers and if you could, control your bankroll the right way, 0.1% or 0.05%, less than 1%, it's smart. I don't mean 0.1%. I meant 1% or point or 0.5%. It's smart, when it comes to full-time gambling or if you want to grow your bankroll or even if you want it as side income. So appreciate all of you. Thank you very, very much. Again, like, subscribe, comment, hit the notifications on. We're coming back on Friday with the Lambo Plays podcast, 9 p.m. Eastern, me and Timothy Ciano. Please support the channel. I appreciate all of you. Good luck, and let's cash those tickets for UFC OKC.